Hello everyone, Storm101 here. Today we'll be doing a live stream here of a live severe weather update here. I'm going to go and get chat pulled up on my phone here. Yeah, we got a significant severe weather event to really keep an eye on today. We even already have some severe thunderstorms going on out there. So pull up the chat here. Alright, chat's pulled up. Let's quickly go ahead and get started with what we got going on here. And so this is the SPC hour mesoscale analysis. This is where you get your watches from. This is where they keep an eye on things here. And things like it cut off on me again. Might have. I don't know. But anyways, let's something's going on my phone here. Hopefully my live stream could do alright, because this is kind of getting ridiculous here with the internet connection and all that stuff. But pretty much everybody's on the internet at this point, so I would figure the internet would do better uh, this afternoon than last night, but doesn't look to be the case. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started with these what we got going on right now. So we have some severe thunderstorms across northern Kentucky, which are capable of producing some hail. We already had reports of some penny to quarter-size hail up there, and there's also another severe, a couple of severe thunderstorms in West Virginia, and along with that, we have a severe thunderstorm watch until 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. This includes northern, northern and eastern Kentucky, southwestern West Virginia, and west central Virginia. And again, this is until 8 o'clock here. We have some severe thunderstorms in progress here, and those storms will be continuing on for quite a bit. But anyways, here, the atmosphere, the area we're watching here is right up here. This is the area we're keeping an eye on for any thunderstorm development. If any storms does start to develop, which we might have something going on here, their track will be moving kind of in this direction here. And that's something we really need to keep an eye on. And if we take a look into the instability at the surface here, we have Cape values in central Missouri, 4,000, which is crazy. Welcome card to game. Is there a tornado? No, there is no tornado at this time. Probably better chance later tonight. Just some severe thunderstorms across northern Kentucky. This is just a live severe weather update here that I'm having here. And again, 4,000 Cape. That is a lot of energy for these storms to use. Let's take a look into some other things. Let's take a look at mixed layer Cape here. There's plenty of that in the area as well. Let's take a look at some of the bulk shear here. As you can see here, we got places with 50 and 55 knots, which is not too bad. And let's take a look into the helicity, which is very low at this point. So yeah, and we'll see, what else can we look at here? Let's look into the supercell composite. So the supercell composite is starting to rise in southern Iowa, in central and northern Missouri, level 4. And again, like people are saying here, had reports of some hail. Warren Moore, welcome to the stream. We had a hailstorm in South Shore, Kentucky. Yeah, I had reports of some hailstones. I've seen some pictures of penny to quarter-size hail up in northern Kentucky there. And I've seen hail before. The largest hail I've ever seen is dimes. So, very small for me. So, but I may have a chance to see something larger tonight. Now, let's take a look at the lap rates here. This is something pretty impressive here. Now, really, you need over a 7 for some issues. We got an 8.5 in Iowa, and that is very high for this time of year. There's even a 9 back in Kansas, Oklahoma, but that's not in the severe weather risk area. And keep in mind, this refreshes every minute. So this is what's going on right now. And we got 7.5 lap rates coming in into Kentucky as well. And eventually we're going to see 8 and 8.5 readings as the day goes on. And let's look into those temperatures here and the wind and the dew points. So the dew points are pretty high. As you can see here, we're starting to see some. We got pretty widespread 60s. Temperatures are in the 80s, so basically summertime feel um, in April here. And I don't think there's anything else we're gonna look into. Oh, let's take a look into the large hail parameter. And holy moly, it is pretty high with a 20 in Missouri, Illinois. There's even what number is that? 12 across northern Kentucky. So there's a good chance for seeing some large hail with those storms. It seems like we have a new storm developing right over here across on the northwest Kentucky. That'll probably individually come strong and severe as these storms continue to push the southeast. Now the atmosphere is going to recover very quickly here with those as the storms pass by. Here's the significant hail parameters, which is 2 inch plus in diameter. It's only a 4 across central Missouri, but let's move on. Let's take a look at to enhance energy helicity index. It's not that high. Let's move on to the Storm Prediction Center and we'll move on to my forecast and we'll take a look at some models. So right now we have an enhanced risk for severe storms across most of Tennessee, most of Kentucky, central and southern Indiana, central and southern Illinois, eastern Missouri, northeastern Arkansas. They're in far northern tips of Mississippi, Alabama, and the far northern tip, uh, northwest Georgia. Main threats would be the biggest threat really is damage of winds here. We even have a hatched area here, and what this means here, 65 plus knot winds are possible. And putting into miles per hour, that is 75 plus mile an hour winds possibility in those areas in there. And it also does include Louisville, Bowling Green, Evansville, Nashville, Jackson, very close to St. Louis. It's right on the edge of Indianapolis as well. So I'm also in that area as well. So we really need to keep an eye on this. And there's also the chance, there's a possibility of a moderate risk today. And I'll show you guys my forecast in just a moment. But here's your hail forecast here. Um, so you got a 30% hatched area. There's also another hatched area across southern Texas there. And for the hatched area, that is 2 inches plus hail in diameter, which is very large hail. So yeah, and the tornado threat's low ends. So people are asking questions why is the tornado threat low today? It's because there's not a lot of low level shear, but that may increase into the overnight hours. So, but the best chance for tornadoes is in that 5% area, which it does include places like Louisville, Bowling Green, Evansville, Nashville, St. Louis, and Jackson there, and even for Indianapolis as well. But again, they're also calling for the possibility of a moderate risk. It's definitely possible, and I'll show you guys more forecast right now. So here is my forecast here. I've just updated this on Twitter. If you all do not follow me on Twitter, I highly recommend you following on my Twitter because you'll be seeing maps like this before the video gets uploaded. And I made this about an hour ago. And as you can see here, I've issued a moderate risk for severe storms, mainly for across southern Illinois, southern Indiana, central and western Kentucky, and pretty much portions of Tennessee as well, where that area has the best chance for some significant damage of winds. It's at a 45% SIG, and same thing for the large hail is more further west, and the tornado threat's still at 5%. So yeah. Warren Moore says there's an enhanced risk for severe storms, and yes, we do know that. And so let's take a look into the HERB model here, and I've been really looking into this model here a lot. So it's right now currently working on the 17Z run, so we're getting close to the 18Z run where it goes out 36 hours, and that's about 3 o'clock. So this is mixed layer cape. Let's move on to something else. Let's look into reflectivity, basically your future radar and with the updraft helicity here. So it's not really showing the thunderstorms going on right now across northern Kentucky, which is probably not a good sign because the atmosphere might not be as unstable across the north than it is for some of these areas in here that hasn't seen any thunderstorms. But it seems like it does pop up um, there across West Virginia. But here comes your storms up in Iowa and approaching Illinois. And as that cold front starts to get closer here, these storms are really starting to get organized here, and eventually this will be coming into a squall line here. If we head for another hour, the storm coverage really starts to increase, still increasing, and it hits my area about close to midnight. And look at these storms here, and these storms here will start to accelerate. So, and when you see these Boeing segments right here, this indicates some serious damage wind threats here. So, in the herd model, it's been very consistent that where the storms could be happening is mainly across Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, and Kentucky, maybe into Ohio as well, and even for Tennessee. And look at these Boeing segments here. I mean, if this verifies, which I'm right here, man, I'm going to be having a rough time with these storms. Let's get a hodograph here. And I'm going to show you guys how to indicate damage and winds using hodograph. Here's a good example here. So your green line is your dew point. Your red line is the temperature. When they are far apart, as you can see here, that means an increased chance for some damage and winds here. So right now, if this does verify, there is some wind going on near the surface. Now, if let's go in a little bit into the storm. So let's kind of going into like northeastern Washington County, Kentucky. And let's see if we can get a little better. Yeah, it's a little better. But as you can see here, there's some damage winds that has increased. We're also seeing some downdrafts coming in. Look at these winds here coming from the, I don't know what direction that'll be, but they're coming from the sky, and those are downdrafts there, and they're starting to turn from the clouds and going down. That's where you get your damage winds from as well, and that is something pretty serious. And that's why I have a 45% chance for um, severe thunderstorms. And keep in mind the SPC does update their outlook again at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in Central. That is 3 o'clock. But we really need to keep an eye on the storms. And it seems like those storms can continue for a while here. So, and it seems like the storms are really at their worst as they get into Kentucky, pretty much in Tennessee. So this is something we really need to keep an eye on. And the NAM3 cam is starting to have some issues there. What else can we look into for models? We can look to the REP model, but we're going to use a different website for that because it doesn't have the zoom in for the area. So we'll get on a College of Dew page here. Go to the REP model. So it's on this. So this is his 15Z run. So here's basically your future radar, and as you can see here, how it progresses here. You got a well-defined squall line of storms here, and you see these Boeing segments here that indicate some damage or winds with these storms. Let's take a look into a couple other things. Let's take a look at the supercell composite here. Welcome to the Stream SPC Roblox Fanning Game Productions. SP says there's no moderate risk today. We know that, but I believe on the last update they did mention about the possibility for a moderate risk. So it's definitely possible. There's no moderate risk out there yet, but there might be one coming in on the next update. We don't really know yet on that till the update comes in. But anyways, here your supercell composite is actually pretty high here, but any storms that really do form out ahead of this line, which is unlikely, um, can become a supercell out there, but we're not going to really see that. And we'll zoom this out a little bit here. Tornado threat, there could be some severe hail, but again, really, I don't think we're going to see any supercells out there. It's mainly going to be for damaging straight line winds, at least for out here. But if you're in like Missouri and Illinois, there's a better chance for supercells out there. So let's take a look to the significant tornado parameters. So yeah, if you guys get any questions, you could go ahead and put it in the chat. So let's go ahead and continue on here. Oh boy, it's showing some very high values way down here. Yeah, 9.7, probably not going to happen. Yeah, it's a 5.4 across south central Kentucky. We'll get one more photograph here. And kind of a similar situation there. But I guess we can go a little bit detail, go into that high area just for fun, see what it shows. It might be ridiculous, and it's actually not. It's actually about the same as the others. So, but yeah, but just really stay weather aware for tonight. Especially across southern Indiana, southern Illinois, Tennessee, Kentucky. Those are the areas that really need to keep an eye on these storms here. And I'm definitely going to be videotaping this tonight. At least the timing will be fine with me because at least it's not in the middle of the night. Well, it's close. But, so severe thunderstorm watch in northern Kentucky. Yeah, I've already mentioned that in the beginning of this session. But, anyways, here's another look at the moderate risk area, and here we'll zoom in here. It goes for places like Evansville, Louisville, Lexington, Nashville, and Paducah, really, and Bowling Green as well. Um, where I predict probably for the better chance for some damage winds there. And there's another slight risk area across southern Texas as well. But let's kind of go back here. Let's see if what's the Cape right now. Derecho composite. Yeah, this is some pretty cool stuff here. NCS maintenance here. Microburst composite. Enhanced stretching potential. Man, there is a lot of stretching across the Ohio River there, across the northern Kentucky there of an 8, which is pretty high. And I'm starting to see some new storms developing to my northwest, which I think it's too far away for me to see, but I might look out my window, see if there's anything interesting out there. But um, who knows what happened? We don't really expect much of for tornadoes out there. I might go live again, but we'll see. Yeah, that storm's kind of outside the risk area, which that might come pretty close to my area. And we'll take a look at this here, so composite again. And as you can see, it's starting to increase a little bit. It's right now up to a 1. So the wind shear should be increasing a little bit probably. Surface winds there. There's a lot of stuff here. Yep. There's a lot of combination of stuff. It's a pretty cool thing to use here. And we also got probabilities of EF zeros and stuff. Probability for EF zero, if a tornado does happen, it's actually pretty high. It's a 15. EF2 plus, yeah, that's very low. It's a 1. So yeah, but I might end it here. I'm gonna look at my phone right quick. Warren Moore says no severe thunderstorm warnings in Kentucky yet. There is actually severe thunderstorm warnings across northern Kentucky, across I-75. So there is severe thunderstorm warnings right now. They are hail producers right now. What really interests me is that new storm developing here. Yeah, there's only one severe thunderstorm warning. Oh, we actually have a tornado warning in West Virginia. Alright, I guess this is turning into a severe weather coverage here, folks. We'll use this here. So we have a tornado warning in West Virginia. So glad I saw that on radar scope. It's got a pretty good hook on it. Get this radar site. Here's your severe thunderstorm, and tornado warning. Zoom this in. So here you go. We even got a flash flood warning issued, and there's going to be more storms following along with that. It's got a pretty good hail core, which we'll get out another one of these just for the It's probably going to be short-lived tornado warning, but we'll live stream it anyways. So let's get the velocity up. Yeah, it has some pretty good rotation with it on there. Let's take a look at my phone here. Yeah, the rotation is actually weakened a lot, which is good news. And we just have a new severe thunderstorm warning. This includes actually the city of Huntington, and it's for these cluster storms right here becoming severe warned. So pretty active already. Yeah, it's pretty active. I'm actually starting to see rotation with that severe warned storm in Kentucky. Showing a little hook on us, and we actually might get another tornado warning. And I think it's just a mount to its terrain. Probably might be creating the rotation in the area. It's possible. Again, it's got a pretty good hail core with it. We'll get another radar. We'll get this in Kentucky. We'll get Louisville. So that's the storm. Keep an eye on. That probably might get close to me. I'm over here. That storm's way up here. It'll probably miss me. More than likely. Looks like we got a new storm popping up over Louisville. So, yep, there's something trying to pop up over Louisville. Again, we'll be tracking this severe storm, which should probably turn on auto update. All of them. So, and again, the rotation is fairly weak at this point. It does have a nice hook on it. It's actually starting to tighten up again. Looking onto radar scope. See you guys if it's anything. Justin, where has started? Corey Anderson, Justin, where has started? You'll pray. Alright. Thank you. Uh, thank you for your mystery. No problem. Large hail in Fleming County, Kentucky. Yeah, hopefully it won't get too crazy today. But right now, this tornado warning is in West Virginia right now. And the rotation's weak at this point, but it looks like it might be tying up a little bit. Haven't really seen any hail reports coming in from, oh, there's actually something going on just north of Moorhead. Yeah, look at this, guys. Another air rotation trying to pop up just north of Moorhead. So we actually might get another tornado warned storm out here. Very interesting here. So we got two storms to watch here. We got one in West Virginia, which is just southwest of, I mean southeast of Charleston. We got another storm just north of Morehead, showing it's tying up a little bit of rotation. We also got the Louisville radar here, getting some new storms trying to pop up. That storm may get into Lexington very shortly, and that's one thing is I'm really watching for. These storms here actually might help die down the atmosphere, especially across northern Kentucky. So the air might try to get a little bit more stable, but we'll see. And again, there is some rotation showing up just north of Morehead, Kentucky. It's actually in the hail core as well, in the middle of the hail core. So, and again for Huntington, West Virginia, it's in a severe thunderstorm warning. It's about to get slammed by some large hail in a few moments. Radar indicated 1.25 inches size hail in diameter. Again, still weak rotation in West Virginia. I don't know if they'll continue that tornado warning or not, but we'll see. West Virginia now normally tornado because of mountains, correct? I'm not 100% sure on that. And Warren Moore is right. West Virginia does get tornadoes, but I don't know what the mountains can do, to be honest with you. They could probably mess some things up. And, there was a back in 2012, there was the West Liberty tornado went for the mountains as a EF4. So tornadoes can develop through mountainous terrain here. So probably change our sector here. So this is the SPC analysis thing here. Let's take a look. So any tornado develops in that area could be a EF0, but EF2 is very low. It's probably EF0, EF1, possibly if one develops. Keep in mind. Segueing to the surface-based cape, we're also starting to see in Central Kentucky 2,500, and those numbers are still increasing. And it seems like those storms haven't really taken down the K values all that much, which is not good at all. As you can see there, over in Arkansas, 4,000 Cape. Eventually, we'll see numbers similar to that. We probably be able to reach 3,000 Cape today here in Kentucky. So those storms here, it's got a lot of fuel to use. Say we to a different composite like significant hail parameters, which is actually very low. Uh, Large hail parameter, it's pretty high. These yellows here, about 12, which is pretty high. So these storms here across northern Kentucky and West Virginia can see some pretty large hail, and that seems like that's really what's been going on. It looks like some weak rotation still showing up just north of Morehead. It's a hailstorm at this point. Might get severe warned, we'll see. Take a look for any other rotation possible storms. Yeah, it's north of Morehead is a store to really keep an eye on. The rotation's actually rain wrapped. It's actually in a hail core, which is very interesting. Tornado warning around County, Kentucky. Yep, as expected, and it just came up on my phone here. So we have a tornado warning. Just it does not include Morehead, Kentucky, but I'm pretty sure your local TV station like WKYT or Lexington in Lexington can we'll probably start a live stream. So we have a tornado warning in Round County, Kentucky, and we're gonna take a look at the timing of that. So wow, a couple of tornado warnings today. Very interesting. So yeah, so the tornado warning is in effect until 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's radar indicated, no report of a tornado, but petty-sized hail is also possible with that storm. And just now, SPC just updated Day 2 outlook, which shows an enhanced risk for severe storms across southern Texas. So yeah, pretty interesting day already, guys. Isn't that something? I was watching that storm the whole time. Look at the rotation with that storm. I bet they might be able to continue for a while. Might be able to. So let's take a look into the SPC analysis. Let's take a look to the Supercell composite, which the numbers are actually starting to increase in Northern Kentucky and West Virginia with a 2. So that's not a good sign. Here's the derecho composite. Let's see here. Significant tornado parameters is pretty low. The effective layer, pretty low. So no significant tornadoes really at this point. But pretty organized storm there. I think there should be a significant tornado probability in Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi. Problem is with that, we're not gonna. I don't. I have to disagree with you, Andrew's weather predictions, because there's not really gonna be any storms developing out ahead of us. Squall line here. See, here's the herd model at 16Z. There's no storms out ahead of it, but there could be a couple of tornadoes or spin ups along that squall line, but I don't think there'll be strong tornadoes. But I think the probably higher probabilities might for tornadoes will probably be in Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana, where you see some of these cells here that develop out ahead of these storms. So, yeah. And here's your enhanced risk again, and they updated the day one severe weather outlook until 4 o'clock today. So here's your new tornado warning. It does not include Moorhead. It'll miss you guys to the northeast. Take a look for any rotation. So this might be short term, but we'll see if that happens or not. Looks like a hook echo started trying to show up with this storm, and the hook on this storm is pretty well defined. It's actually in the hail core, which is not good. It's not good at all. And the tornado warning is still going in West Virginia, which I'll take a look into that. Which the rotation is very weak. It's actually outside the tornado box, so I think it's safe to say at this point I don't think a tornado will happen on the West Virginia cell and probably should focus on the cell in Kentucky. So yeah, and again, we have so we got some pretty good rotation at just northeast of Morehead, Kentucky. So we really need to keep an eye on. There actually might be another area of rotation developing in northern Kentucky. It's actually over Sadieville, Kentucky. So we actually might get another tornado warning. So, man, whew, the severe weather activity is already active across Kentucky. Isn't that something? So the rotation is pretty well defined here. It's right now outside the tornado warning box. So I think it's cut off by another dash water service, which I don't know if there's one. I think it's Charleston. I think that's what covers it. And the new tornado warning was issued by Wilmington. So here's your rotation area right there. So we'll probably stay live till the tornado warnings will go away. Though I do have some chores to do after this, so I cannot be here for too much longer. Yeah, that's a pretty healthy cell by Moorhead. It's got a pretty large hail core with it. Alright, let's see if you guys said anything yet. You like the NAM? Yeah, the NAM's alright. New tornado warning Kentucky, yeah, that's the one we are covering right now. Yep, let's see. We could probably take a look at the. For some reason, the NAM 3KM is not updating on here. Looks like the HER model is about to get finished with the 17Z run, which we'll take a look into that very quickly. So right now, it's starting to pick up those storms. It seems like those storms can be a long track as well, which is not good. And this squall line storms keeps on getting worse. I mean, look at that. I mean, that is intense right there. That's crazy. Pretty intense squall line of storms there. Let's take a look to the Super Composite. And the next run will be the ATZ run. As you can see here, the Super Composite is pretty high, especially down here, which we'll get a forecast on there. Here, let's try that again. It's a 26, pretty high. It's also a very high res resolution model. And I don't think. Okay, here we go. Yep, pretty favorable. You also see damage winds near the surface, just out ahead of those storms. It's also pretty high down here, but there's not really any storms developing in that area. That's the thing. Even though the environment's pretty good for some significant tornadoes, the thing is there's not going to be any storms developing there. It's all it is just a squall line. These storms that could produce damage winds, probably some hail as well. Thinking more and more, you can actually find this radar image radar.weather.gov here. You have a variety of radars to choose from. Yeah, I like it too, and I'm thinking about getting like radar scope or something on my computer, so it'll be a little bit more accurate on here. Rotation is still there, but not as tight. And oh yeah, that tornado warning in West Virginia looks to have been canceled, but there's also new severe thunderstorm warnings with those storms. So here's the Louisville radar. Seems like the storm's not gonna be successful because it seems like it'd be hitting what we call a cap, which is a warm air aloft. So that's really gonna prevent storms to develop. And we still got rotation with that storm. Probably another tornado warning. So people that are out ahead of the storm is pretty much Sandy Hook. If you live in Sandy Hook, be prepared to take shelter. Um, with this storm, this is a dangerous storm that could produce a tornado. So Moorhead, you're pretty much in the clear with the storms here. I-64 is not in the clear. The hail core is right out over I-64, which is not good, which I-64 is right here. And I've been on that highway before. It's pretty mountainous there, kind of in that area, and also been into Moorhead, which is kind of in the valley. So a lot of cities are in valleys, aren't they? We should probably take off the topo so that we can see a little bit better. I think this is a little better. We'll end the stream whenever this tornado warning goes away, but I'm afraid there's going to be another one issued, which is then probably for the next county down the road. These storms are moving to southeast here, but they might turn a little bit more to the south, and it's along a front. Eventually, you'll see this tornado warning go away, but it's been expired. Hello, Nelk boys, welcome to the stream. Yo, still think they'll upgrade to a martyr risk? It's possible. They might, if which I should, since some of you guys are joining in on the stream, kind of in the middle of things here. So here's my forecast here. Probably better chance of moderate risk could be more in western Kentucky, portions of Tennessee, southern Indiana, southern Illinois, where we have the better chance for some damaging winds. So if they issue a moderate risk, more than likely going to be in that area. And again, they update the SPC outlook at 4 o'clock. And here's their current SPC outlook. Tornado threat's only at a 5%. The thing is that that tornado warning's out there. That tornado warning out of West Virginia is out. It's outside, but there's not been a tornado report or anything. The the Moorhead storm, I should be saying, it's in the 2% area, but it's the storms later in the day. They have issued a significant area here for damaging winds. What this means here is 65 plus knot winds. So, in 65 knots and miles per hour, that is 75 mile per hour winds, and it can go over that. So we can see some pretty strong winds tonight, especially where I live. You know, I'll be getting involved with this here tonight. Haven't seen one of these type of storms in a while, really. What about Nashville? Nashville does have a chance as well for a moderate risk. That's what, and by my forecast, I have a moderate risk for Nashville. So we'll have to keep an eye on this very closely. The rotation is very broad right now. Yeah, it is very broad. Starting to get disorganized, really. There's also a new severe thunderstorm warning with that storm as well. Been issued by a different weather service. Oh, wait. National Service at Jackson's issuing that, I think. That tornado warning, and then a different weather service is issuing the severe thunderstorm warning. So as of right now, the rotation is fairly weak. It's in the hail core, which is not good. So if you're in a hail core, you're in a really bad spot. And at this point, it has passed I-64 for the most part. So people that are traveling on I-64 nearby Moorhead, you're clear to drive on I-64. You probably will see some good hailstones. The roads might be slippery there, so be careful with that. Yeah, the roads will probably slippery. I'm sure we'll be seeing some pictures of that. And we just have a new severe thunderstorm warning. This actually includes portions of Bourbon County, and I actually do not know this other county. In Kentucky, it's for Bourbon, Harrison, and Scott counties. So a severe thunderstorm that is probably capable of producing some large hail. It's an inch and a 3/4 inch sized hail, possibly radar indicated. So it seems like the cap has really started to come in place. So some of these storms here are starting to die down. So this includes Paris, does not include Georgetown. Uh, it does not include Cynthiana, which will miss them to the south. Still got the tornado warning in Rowan County. Yeah, the rotation is very broad. It's not really organized. It might get organized again later. Reduced severe thunderstorms should be popping up. It'll be this storm right here. Again, like I said, these storms, as you can see, are dying down. Probably because there's a cap in place. If we look into the SPC analysis here, let's take a look into thermodynamics. Surface space CAPE. Yeah, it's pretty high, 2,500. There's plenty of CAPE there for those storms to use. But there's not really an index for a cap. So yeah. Um, Yawning, man. Here's your mid-level lap rates here. And for some of these storms, especially this one here that's severe warned, it's in some pretty good lap rates. With a 7, a 7.5, not too far behind. So we got some pretty high mid-level lap rates. And we can take a look to low level lap rates if I can find it again. Here it is. It's pretty hot. It's a 8.5 over nearby Cincinnati and over Kings Island. Carter County, Kentucky, severe thunderstorm warning. Thank you for letting me know. And by the way, there is a severe thunderstorm watch. We'll go back here. So your severe thunderstorm watch includes northern and eastern Kentucky, southwestern West Virginia, and West Central Virginia. Here, I'm gonna look outside my window. Be right back. I'm gonna hurt something. Open these blinds up. Nope. Oh, I know. Oh, I actually got a view of those storms outside my window. Yeah, I do. I can see the anvils of the storms. The trees in the way, but I can see the top of the storms, which is cool. Turn off these lights up here. There we go. And yes, it's pretty windy out there too. Yeah. Computer's hot. Oof. You know how hot it is. A little bit hot up here, but it's also hot outside too. Oof. But anyways, yeah, I can see those storms in the distance outside my window. So I'm right here. I'm looking at these storms up here. Doesn't look that impressive. Man, those low level lap rates are pretty high, an 8.5. It seems like it's still increasing. Your Super Soak composite, not much has changed. Your significant hail parameters has actually went down. Went down. So this is your hail size up thing here. Yeah, possibility of 2-inch size diameter. Dang, that's a pretty large hail. And these white cores out here, it's maxed out at 4 inches. Jeez. That's SARS. Significant hail percentages here. It's a 55%. Well, actually, wrong thing. It's actually between a 70 to 90% chance to see some significant hail in my area. And for those other storms, it's a little bit lower end, but it's still a pretty good percentage. So there is some good news on the Morehead storm. Um, I don't know if they're going to issue another tornado warning because the rotation is very disorganized. It's still there, but it's eventually going to reach into Sandy Hook, Kentucky, and the hail core is just increasing too. So there's probably more than likely going to be another severe thunderstorm warning with that, more than likely. Yeah, 2-inch size hail in diameter, radar indicated. Let's refresh it. Take off the topo. Yeah, it's showing some purples on radar scope. That indicates there's some pretty large hail in there, in that storm. Now in DBZ, that is about 72. Yeah, that's pretty high. We're actually starting to get some hail reports coming out. Some areas in Huntington, mainly pea-sized hail reports from radar scope. Hail spotted in Olive Hill, Kentucky. All right. We've been live streaming for nearly an hour. Yeah, I think they're gonna let this tornado warning expire. It's what it looks like, and probably not issue another one because if they issue another one, it would have been already be issued at this point. Yeah, as you see here, the rotation has really been, it's now really disorganized, so I don't expect them to issue another tornado warning. But anyways, there is a new severe thunderstorm warning for this storm. It does include Sandy Hook, but it's going to miss to the north, east of West Liberty. So I'm trying to find the. So it's for Elliott, Morgan, and Rowan counties. So right now I'm looking at to a different radar here. Doesn't really show much of any rotation with that storm. And Morehead's about to get hit by a storm. And that hail core is it's pretty large hail core. So I think the tornado warning should expire. We'll see. It's got 7 minutes. So, but I think I'm going to end it early because the rotation on that storm it's not there anymore. So see if there's any other models going on here. Uh, Storms headed south of Olive Hill, hitting Grand Hand, Kentucky. All right. So the 18Z, we're not there yet for her. However, the RAP model is there. Yeah, the RAP model is still showing a pretty significant score line there. Let's go to a different website here. We'll go to Cloud Meteorology again. Take a look at the NAM Nest. It does have the 12Z run. So this is pretty high res model. As you can see here, with that pretty impressive squall line of storms here. Especially for some of these Boeing segments here a little bit. That's something you really have to keep an eye on. We'll take a look at a couple other things and we'll end the live stream. If you guys got any questions, you can go ahead and put in chat right now. Yeah, your supercell composite's very high. If I try to get into the storms, kind of on the leading edge of those storms, see if we can get like a damage and wind signature. Doesn't look like it. Got 10. Hold on, we got it. There we go. It's 2:39 Eastern Standard Time. It's pretty elevated, for sure. See if you guys set any question. Boris Storms in Lexington, yeah. Yeah, there is a cell heading right towards Lexington. It might get the northern half of the city. Probably get Hamburg as well. But anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna end it here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this live stream. If you guys did like this live stream, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys got questions about this, if you're watching this video, you can put a comment section down below. I will answer your guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye. I don't think it's ending the stream like the way I wanted. It says it's still stopping. Dang. Taking a while. And sorry you missed the live stream. Wish you could have been here earlier. Yeah, I don't think it's working. Man, come on. Mm. Yeah, I don't think it's stopping. Dang. Come on. I may have to exit off here. We'll see. I don't think stuff it's not working right. But anyways, sorry that you missed the live stream. David Marshall came here a little bit late. and welcome to my channel. Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Kind of sounds familiar. I'm not sure. But anyways, you guys do have a chance for severe storms. But I think when it off, probably will fix